Howdy folks, Stock here with Last Best Tool, and I noticed a gaping hole in my tool set in my toolbox, and that had to do with thin wrenches. So I picked up a metric and an SAE set of Duratech wrenches in gold. So we're going to answer the question, why Duratech and why gold? But first I wanted to mention, I had somebody ask me, I was using this particular, in my previous video, this particular T9 Torx with that icon situation where I got a Tecton wrench. They asked, is this a Western Forge? I don't think it is. This is the marking on it. There is a W and a PR. I think the PR is probably the manufacturer because I have other ones. Here is a T8 Torx Craftsman, but it has a WF there, so I'm guessing that that's the Western Forge. So you can see the difference there. There's a W there, a Z here, PR, and WF. I'm guessing these might be Western Forge. I don't know what these are. Somebody can jump in the comments. But I'm glad I kept them, you know, all these years. Anyway, back to the thin wrenches. I do have a snap-on thin wrench that I've used in a previous video. This is a 13-15 millimeter. You can see how thin it is. And I got the 15 mainly for bicycle pedals, especially quality pedals, small, low profile, even titanium pedals that don't have a hex head on the back side, and you need a very thin wrench because they're right up against the crank arm. Here's a kind of a standard sized wrench. You can see massive difference. What do we got? This is a Klein Tools 5/8 here. So we're going to do some measuring there, but this is what these things look like. So first of all, why Duratech? First thing I considered had to do with the quality, and Duratech, for being like it's a Chinese a Chinese manufacturer, a lot of their stuff, it's well known. It's, you know, you don't have huge expectations, but you also don't think it's junk. And the gold side, well, I wanted them to stand out, to be different. So these are fairly large but fairly thin wrenches. They do not accept a lot of high torque, and so the quality, you know, unless they're made of lead or something, it really doesn't matter as long as they're a good solid steel and that they have the proper fitment. And Duratech makes a ton of different tools, so they know what they're doing in the budget frame, but they are not super cheap. These are about 30 bucks a piece for each of these rolls, and it comes with a roll. And I discovered with Capri, if I want a roll, it's going to cost me between 15 and 20 bucks just for a tool roll, which is kind of crazy. But I wanted these to be able to be set aside and not get mixed in with the regular wrenches, just so they wouldn't get misused. But anyway, this is the SAE set runs on the smallest. I've got 1/4 inch 9/32 for the tiniest wrench here, with 1/4 inch being the smallest size, on up to 1 inch, 1 1/16. You can look these up, or you can just see here. Each wrench has 2 different sizes. And then on the metric side, we have got the smallest is 5.5 millimeters, then it jumps to 7 on this one. We got 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, 13, 14, 17, 19, 21, 22, 23, and 24, 27. Look at that monster. We'll take a closer look in a sec. Notice there was no 15. So I already have a 15, so I wasn't worried about redundancy there because it's lacking in this set, which is kind of too bad. But it has the rest of the important ones. So look at the sizes of these wrenches. So got these are the 2 biggest of the Duratech wrenches. They do have a gold coating, a little tough to see. You pay about $4 to $5 extra for the gold coating. They call it gold titanium, whatever that means. I'm not that worried. It's not going to add strength to the steel, but it makes them stand out. And I thought that was kind of cool. So if I grab my caliper, I'll use this one here, zeroed on millimeters. Here's the standard. This is the Klein again. If I grab that, what am I working with? About 7 almost 8 millimeters, 8.1 right there, something like that, 8 millimeters thick. Here is the snap-on the 15. I'm looking at 3.76, it looks like, 77. And then here is the Duratech. I'll start with the largest, the 1 1/16 inch. If I grab the blade on that 2.5 millimeters, 3 millimeters. So it's essentially a millimeter thinner almost than the snap-on. So these are really thin. Now I do have some, there's 2.76. I do have some what are called cone wrenches that I use in bicycles or bicycle maintenance for adjusting old school hubs. But those only come in a couple of different millimeter sizes. But I wanted a size run here. Truly, this is one of those cases that we often say where it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. A lot of times you're using these things, brake jobs, suspension work, struts, things like that. They also come in handy in certain tool maintenance for angle grinders, for saws, electric saws, power saws, table saws, things like that, where you might have a specialized tool in order to get into a confined space to adjust a set nut or something like that. So here they are. I put links below. I'll put links for both the standard steel and for the titanium version. But I looked at a whole bunch of them. And price-wise, this was a good deal. It came in a set that didn't have too many skips. I mean, the 15 was noticeable, but I already have that. And I like the idea of the gold. That was kind of an added benefit. In fact, that was probably the biggest selling point between them. I looked at some Capris. There's a lot of companies that make these, and they're expensive. So this was actually one of the better deals, plus the gold, plus the case, and it's Duratech, which, for what that's worth, they say they have a lifetime warranty. I have not used it on any Duratech project or product yet, but if I ever needed to, I'd be curious how that worked out. If you have any experience with Duratech and their warranty, let me know. But otherwise, it's a thin profile wrench, and I doubt, I mean, there's a lot of steel on these things. The thinness is what I'm after, not the overall strength. If I need to really crank on something, I got bigger issues. So here they are, the Duratech Gold Metric and SAE thin wrenches for, actually these were under 30 bucks a set. And again, that was a hole in my toolbox. I'm glad I filled it. Feel better, sleep better at night now. And with that, Doc out.